Good evening, good evening. Welcome. It is Moon Day, May 22nd. We have transitioned from Taurus season to Gemini season and didn't even realize it. Um, we did, obviously, but it's been very interesting already. The new moon was so lovely. I want to extend a special thanks to Miss Shaman Isis, Cynthia. She was so lovely to join me on Instagram along with Terry live for us to discuss the questions that you and I here on Fireside and on YouTube discussed last week for the new moon. So we're going to go over that today as well. We're going to discuss the possibility of uh, maybe what that painting ended up being or whatnot. For me, it was the bee. It was World Bee Day, I think it was, or something big about bees on Saturday. And so, yeah, so let's go ahead and begin, everybody. Thank you so much for those of you watching on Fireside and live on YouTube, on the World Wide Web, or listening to the replay on the Spotify app. It becomes available usually Tuesday morning. So I'm very grateful for Fireside and the team here and everybody involved in this amazing platform that allows us to meet. So it was, let me tell you, Jessica Lanyato's podcast, check it out, Ghost of a Podcast, started with the best note, which was, or the best reminder, I feel like for me on the moon day after this weekend, right? And after the new moon, it's like back to work, back to whatever. She said, she highlighted the transition between a fixed earth sign into a mutable air sign, which is Gemini, and now we're in Gemini season. So happy birthday to whoever's in the room or watching if you are a Gemini. My little baby sister was birthday was last night, yesterday. So anyway, and Gemini as an air sign, and mutable means that it's not very fixed in its parameters or boundaries, right? It's air, boundless, creative, go with the flow, spontaneous, happy, go lucky. And as we know, with Jupiter in Taurus for the next year, there's a lot of wow, yes, right? Everything just becomes more extra, right? I know I'm being redundant, but just more, period. And so, again, we're in Gemini season. And we're going to be in the season for the next month. So it's going to impact everything that we had already kind of put together. And then, as you know, we start the episode with discussing where the moon is every day and how that may impact you. And because this is not a full moon or a new moon episode, this might be short or just not necessarily very elaborate. And it'll be a great conversation. So let's keep going. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment and let us know. All right. So the moon is in Cancer today. OMG. Did you feel at any point? Hello, Cecilia. The moon is in Cancer today. Did you feel at any point a little bit like in your feelings? Did anything create that knot in your throat and, bring a glistening tear to your eye? Cancer is very emo. Cancer is the empath of all of the zodiac. Cancer is that mushy center, right? That's what the crab is. It's the heart shell, hard to get, and then the mushy center, very tender feelings. And when the moon is in Cancer, some of that may be triggered. And I feel like for some of us in the community, not having the right people that we relate to, that we are safe with to communicate our needs to, we may be a little bit extra sad on days when the moon is in Cancer, if you're single and not really socializing much, if you tend to isolate, if that is your go-to coping mechanism, or what is it? Toxic trait, right? Toxic trait to isolate, to completely dissociate. I have a thread coming about 5 types of dissociating, or 5 ways that it can happen. And so the moon in Cancer can be really mushy. I caught myself earlier feeling very unexpectedly tender about a comment that wasn't really directed at me to begin with. And I heard it in a specific, like in a certain way, and I internalized it in my own egotistical, what, right? Because that's what happened. Egotistical, personified it, made it my own, and then got really tender and moody about it. And then I realized, this isn't about me. And that was a great wake up call. I remember earlier feeling grateful for that wake up call, right? And how my mind kind of just went through the process of figuring that out. And once I figured out that it wasn't personal and that it wasn't directed at me, that it was just a comment, right? Then I was able to kind of just take a deep breath and say, or think, this is not about me, so I'm just going to go on with my day and not be sad. And that's why I said, did you feel at any point today like the knot on your throat and maybe the glistening tear, just something in passing? I feel like that's how sometimes the moon in these signs can manifest. Just one experience in the day that really resonates with that moon in Cancer. And for example, with my toddler, for him is also very tender feelings. And today he threw the loudest fit and he was crying and angry. And now it's so funny because when he's angry, now he says, he's so mad. This is really how he says it. And so he was crying because he wanted me to continue to spend time in the hot sun with the umbrella, playing with the umbrella, even though we had already done it for an hour. And so I'm like, no, we're taking a break. We're going inside. We're drinking water, nice AC, splash some cold water in your face. I do that all the time. And so he was mad. He was really mad. And when these things happen with a 4-year-old, I also feel very good when I look at the moon and I say, or I can at least feel the peace of knowing, oh, his tantrum is extra loud today. What a coincidence that the moon is in Cancer. So there you go. And if you have any questions about how the moon impacts your little one, um, at Luminary Parenting has been such a gift. And I've mentioned her before. I found her account just a few months ago, and oh my goodness, she posts every day where the moon is and how it may impact your little ones. And it's always so impressive. So check her out. She does that every morning. So the moon in Cancer, it's the waxing crescent, or what some people consider also the new moon. We're still in that wavelength, if you want to call it a wavelength. So if you haven't done the questions from last week that I'm going to bring up in a second, you're still in that time frame. Just take a moment to ponder these questions. Even if you didn't do them on Friday, don't think that if you missed my live on Instagram, or if you missed the show and you end up passing the pages and not really journaling and painting, if that's really what you want to do, then do them no matter when or at what point in the cycle you're on, because it will help you. It will bring awareness, right? And that's really the goal. Of course, after the awareness, there's other goals that come into place, like action. Earlier on Twitter, hello, Peter. Peter is here. Yay. We're so excited that Peter is here. We are interrupting our regular programming because Peter Sobi is here, and we're so excited. Peter, oh my goodness, let's celebrate you because you finished your 31 mouth painted paintings, and you're amazing for that, for a book. And also, Peter painted the cover. Do we call it cover? The label of a soup for Proper Good. And we have some cool stuff coming about that soon. So, yes, I'm very proud of you, Peter, and very excited that you're here tonight. Thank you for joining us. So, we were talking about the moon in Cancer and how you may be in your feelings today. And it's going to be in Cancer until Wednesday. So, we haven't moved on from the moon in Cancer yet. And I was just getting to the new moon and reminding everyone that if you didn't get to do the new moon journaling and painting when the date of happens because you couldn't join me because you have a life because you don't run your life on my clock, which I completely understand. It doesn't matter. Get back to it. Do it whenever, because the point is to gain awareness and then decide the actions to take forward once you gain awareness. And then that's when Peter joined us. And I was about to tell you that on Twitter, I shared earlier a great post. Well, I didn't think it was great, but it got traction. So now I'm excited about it. That's the truth about how awareness is great, but without action, what is it really? So just ponder that. That's for you to just ponder. So the new moon in Taurus, remember, new moon is when you plant seeds of intention. How do you want to move forward? What do you want to see grow and manifest? You may call it that. What blessings are you praying for? What are the things that you really want to see happen for you, for your family, for the world? Absolutely, you can bring it from the micro. Think about your life, health, love, happiness, better communication, more dates, a promotion, the right job for you, for your soul. How do you want to word it? Um, a great sitter for your child. And I didn't journal that, but that just came to me. So maybe I should, right? Um, what else, right? Something I honestly, I'm a mom, and sometimes I tend to really say a little prayer for things that my picky toddler wants that were not available at the store. And then I make my phone calls, and it's happened like twice or three times that I make my runs, call all the Aldis that have a specific thing that he wants or whatever, because he's picky like that. And then I say a little prayer so that whatever shortage there is just really helps. And I don't, when you're praying about food shortage, are you praying just for your family or for the entire community, right? So this is what I mean. And things that can really impact the world for good, you want to make sure that you plant those seeds during the new moon. So the new moon questions really quick, and then we'll continue with this week's moonology. How am I making sure that I enjoy the blessings in my life? On Instagram, we discussed that, as always, is a convoluted question. I'm sorry about that, because in this question, you first have to acknowledge the blessing and then figure out how am I now going to make sure that I acknowledge how I enjoy this blessing. There's a triple acknowledgement there, right? Second question, what about my plans right now? The plans that I'm pondering as I plant these seeds of intention. What about my plans seems a bit unrealistic? And this was great because Shaman Isis on Instagram asked, with manifestation, what do you mean unrealistic? And it was a great reminder of how, as a life coach, and I think this has also a lot to do with the fact that I'm a Taurus and my North Node is in Taurus, which is an earth sign. I tend to be very realistic as well. I want to be, I have to be, I feel like, right? And we've discussed this. It's like, I'm going to dream big, but how realistic is it for me to ponder or plant seeds and spend time journaling about how I'm going to actually make it inside of our rocket to go to the moon? Right? We've talked about unrealistic hope. It's one of the types of hope, right, that we have talked about before, and how it's best to really ponder the resources and, the reality of where you are, and think, if I want to change this reality, how can I best do it in a realistic way and imagine it as the next step, uh, the most productive next step that I can envision. Or if this is the reality that I'm happy in, then how can I make it 1% better? or whatever, homier or whatever, right? So, what about my plans right now seems unrealistic, and how can I modify this according to my resources? That's the second, like, two in one question. And then the third question was, what previous intentions? This was really, I wasn't expecting this one, honestly, even though I wrote the book last year. What previous intentions are now getting in the way of your progress? And this has to do with change. This question has to do with those of you or those of us who have come to a point in the journey since we started in the year. This is episode number 20. Everybody, give yourself a round of applause for that. And, we've been here since last year, right? And so, what previous intentions we've been journaling and painting so far 5 times out of the year. This is month number 5, so this is the 5th new moon that we journal and paint. So we've planted many seeds. Lots of things have happened. Some of us have switched jobs, some of us have adopted pets, new relationships, moved states, so on and so forth. So what previous intentions are getting in the way of your progress right now? And this demands that you look back, ponder what you may still be stuck on that really just doesn't fit, but you're kind of stuck on it for whatever reason, and it really doesn't fit. So, what are you going to do about it? That question really wants you to look at that so that you can just move forward, right? And I feel like looking back on something that no longer serves you today is a weight off your shoulders. So, how can you best do that? Weight off. Now you're light, breezy, like right in tune with Gemini season, started yesterday. Air sign, light and breezy, flowing through whatever. And now this brings us, here we are. Hello, Billy. Now this brings us to where we are today because the new moon was on Friday, right? And so we are with the new moon in Cancer. The new moon will be in Cancer until Wednesday, and then it's in Leo. And as you know, Leo is that fire within us that really wants to make a difference, change the world, have the best idea, help people, be in community, be seen, be relatable, receive that pat in the back, be given compliments, so on and so forth. Leo is very self-aware or wants to be. And so it's interesting because Jessica Lanyadoo in her podcast, and I'm going to bring her up again because she liked my reel today. So I'm very excited about that. Thank you so much, Jessica. But Jessica Lanyadoo in Ghost of a Podcast explains how there's, what is it? Mars entering Leo, and then Jupiter is in Taurus, and then the moon in Venus, and all these other things. And it's going to really impact how you look at yourself, literally. Like, not like I look at myself like a gentle fairy, but like I look at myself with like a short, average, you know, hair, whatever. Like, how do you look at yourself in the mirror and how that impacts your day to day, or how that connects with your subconscious and what transpires after that? All of that will be highlighted this week. And the interesting thing is that the affirmation for this week from Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace 2023 manifestation agenda / journal is, I am comfortable in my own skin because I love and accept myself. So again, I wrote it backwards, right? First, you have to love and accept yourself. What is it going to take to get to that acceptance? And I love how the root of the word accept is ac, AC, just like act. And this week with the Mars entering Leo and this, relationship with Jupiter on the same plate, action is the word of the week, and activism. And that was not a shocker. Honestly, think about all the things that are happening politically, If you haven't followed Jessica Laniero yet, then you need to, because I feel like, I don't know if there's other podcasts that give you the astrology for the week with the actual collective humanistic, I don't even know, political view as she does. It is very fascinating. And I never really touched politics and I never will discuss them. But if you like politics and you like the moon, then you might want to listen to her podcast. Anyway, um, but the politics and everything else that has to do with your relationship with yourself, all of that will be highlighted this week. And then we go into the moon with Virgo. And as you know, Virgo is one of my favorites as well. It's another earth sign. And Virgo, the ram, wants to be very organized and wants to really make sense out of the chaos. So think about this. Think about how this is such a great week for activism. And we start with the week in our feelings. I feel like this week I wonder the news that will come up at the end of the week. Is it going to be a lot of tragedy or a lot of drama, or are things going to be okay considering the supportive astrology happening? And of course, for the details, tune in to, also Chani app, right? The Astrology for the Week podcast by Chani. So, I mean, how, right? And here's the thing, we have been figuring a lot of things out. The way that we have been discussing it since last year with the moon in Aries and what that means for us, and how the moon in Aquarius wants emotional freedom, and how we have maneuvered the things. Staying in community allows us to really communicate with each other about what's happening. And I love that when I check in with each of you about what's happening and how that may be transpiring for you. And so what happens is, or what I'm afraid of, I guess I should say, is all of these people really wanting to speak up, and all of these people really feeling, emphasis on feeling a certain very powerful way towards something that obviously is springing from a power dynamic that the people don't really appreciate, right? And so we start the week with the moon in Cancer. Everybody's in their feelings. If you followed me for a long time, you know I love Taylor Swift. Well, there's a lot of drama with her right now, and a lot of fans are demanding that she take action in a very specific way. Emphasis on action. This is currently happening as we speak. It's been happening for a few days. And so, of course, as a fan, and I don't know, just me, I go down that rabbit hole, right? Again, activism. And so we're all in our feelings. Then the moon in Leo is going to really demand or want us to really speak up, really do it, take action. Don't forget that it's Gemini season. So reel it back before you just jump in and take action. You see how I was kind of accelerating there? And Gemini reminds me that let's do it. Try it on for size. It doesn't matter. Try it on for one day. Variety, fun, spontaneity, um, last minute things. And don't worry about it. Think about it next time, or you deserve it. Yeah, splurge, retail therapy, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm not saying that Gemini is all of those things at all. I'm trying to just give you examples of how that spontaneity and fun that Gemini is known for may show up for you. So if it resonates, great. If it doesn't, leave it, right? And then hopefully there's not a lot of drama Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, and Friday. And it's funny because Wednesday night is Vanderpump Rules, and there's so much drama with that. So that's Wednesday night with the moon in Leo. And then Leo, Thursday and Friday, hopefully there's nothing major happening. If there is, let me know, or I'll be on the lookout. And then Saturday and Sunday, it's like, how am I going to make sense of the chaos that just transpired? Because that's what the moon in Virgo will really want to do. How will you make sense of all of it? How are you making sense of your emotions? you know, starting the week with the moon in Cancer also reminds me of last week. I asked the question of how are you a safe space for yourself? This week with the moon in Cancer and Venus moving in Cancer as well, or a conjunction happening there later this week, relationships, right? Venus is about relationships, love, and whatnot. So who is your person that is a safe space for you to be emotionally like outspoken, for you to really unload, download, whatever you want to call it, on them because they're a safe space for you? Who is that for you? And if it's no one in your family or life, I totally recommend you join a community like ours, Empaths Unite, Hope Enthusiast Club, join the newsletter, follow everybody here in the room on their social media, and now you're not alone anymore. There you go. See? Solved. Organized chaos. So that's it, everybody. That's the whole week. I love these episodes in between the full moon and the new moon because they're short and sweet, and we are done. Now I'm wondering if anybody wants to come up, this is the time. And if not, we're going to transition and just flow right into the meditation. Let's not leave the stage with all of the changes that have happened here. Yay, Peter Sobey is so happy to be here. I'm so happy that you're here, Peter. So let's go ahead and meditate. Thank you again for being here, everybody. I am so grateful for you. Remember that music for this meditation is brought to you by Brain FM. Adam, you're just in time. Get comfortable. Let's meditate. You can find a free trial of Brain FM and 20% off your membership in the description, in the bio, fortune cookie description, all of that. So check them out. Music for your brain. I use it at least 3 times a day. And the sleep setting, what is it? Sleep, and then the genre that I love the most, underwater for sleep. I just really feel like I'm like in the bottom of the ocean, and considering that we talk about sharks and whales all the time, that's why. But today we're not under the water. We're going to go ahead and go to the middle of the forest with some night sounds and enjoy this moment together with the very, very, very gentle light of the moon as it begins its journey as a waxing crescent. Feet on the ground. Take a moment to just settle into the space you're in. And with me, you're going to take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep breath all the way, fill your lungs. Hold your breath at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it out nice and slow through your mouth. Long breath out till you have no breath. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale once more through your nose. Long, deep breath in. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. And release through your mouth. Long breath out all the way. And as you breathe nice and slow, I want you to ponder, where is a place that feels safe for you? First place that comes into your head. There you are. Safe and loved and seen and heard. What does it look like? What do you see? You walk across the room in complete confidence. You know each corner. How long has it been since you were here? What does it smell like? With me, take a deep breath in. As you look around this room, deep breath in, hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, long breath out through your mouth, all the way till you have no air. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe again. And as you breathe and you take in this safe space where time has stood still, I want you to ponder your own space, your own chamber, your own body that carries you day by day from one moment and one place to the next. And in this safe space filled with so much love, ponder all the love and gratitude for this life and this moment and all the moments yet to come. Bring your awareness to your hand. Place your hand on your heart and ponder, I am comfortable in my own skin because I love and accept myself. I am filled with so much hope and gladness. I am loved, guided, and protected. With me, take one last deep breath in through your nose. Deep, deep, deep breath in. Fill your lungs all the way. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe it out through your mouth. Long breath out all the way. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last deep breath in through your nose. Last deep breath. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe out through your mouth. Say goodbye to this place where you've landed in this moment. Make a note of it. Come back. Nurture it. Bring your awareness to your body. Wiggle your toes. And come back to me. Yay! Welcome if you've just joined us. Tonight. Thank you. It is a short and sweet episode, as you know, and it's not a new moon and it's not a full moon, and we are done. We discussed, so let's go ahead and do a little recap. But thank you so much for sitting and listening through that. Moon in Cancer, how are you today? How are you feeling? Are you in your feelings? It'll be in Cancer until Wednesday, then it'll be in Leo. So, how are you handling your pride, your sense of community? And then it goes into Virgo. How are you making sense of the chaos? How are you organizing the next steps forward? How are you really organizing yourself to live your best life, if that's really what you want, right? If that was the seed that you planted on Friday, let me show you the little bumblebee I painted. Oh my gosh, Peter, look at the little bumblebee I painted on the new moon. Wow. I journaled all the answers of the questions and then I painted on World Bumblebee Day. And I didn't have any white, so it ended up having fairy wings because all I had was blue and purple, but that's exactly what needed to happen. So, everybody, next week will be full moon already. Gather your supplies, get your pages. If you want to get a PDF printable of the book because you don't have it, you live across the sea like my friend Lida, then become a subscriber for $5 a month and you get the PDF version that you can print at your leisure, black and white, however, and a few other goodies, I should say. Let me not say a lot and then have someone criticize, right? A few nice goodies once a month, right? And so that's been wonderful. Thank you to all of the subscribers. Again, check Brain FM. And yeah, I hope you have a great week. Bye, everybody. I love you all. Good night.